What up? What's happening?
Palace, what you cooking?
Oh God.
Juwan X TheDon.
Some of my STEEZ, you know what's going on. Yes, Lord.
We bring you the goddamn preliminary finals AFL
Finals 2021. Get that ball.
2021, of course it was, bro. Sheesh. Another great round of footy, man. Not what I was expecting at all, but still a great round. I wasn't too disappointed. Any takeaways, bro?
Guess there could be a couple this week. One I'm gonna stick with though. All season, it just goes to show the two teams that made it to the grand final. Strong midfields. If that's something that you need to rely on, it'll be midfield. The two best teams with the two best midfields made it to the grand final. Spoiler, but it's what it is, bro. That's where you need to put your money into, and both teams are definitely seeing the benefits of having both. Pretty much focusing on that as their focal point on the team or the foundation, and like I said, it's doing well for them.
Yeah, my takeaway this round, that was a good one. Midfield is definitely wins games, seems like wins finals. Shit, my takeaway this round is I really don't have one like that. Like I'm more so disappointed in the effort in the teams that didn't show up this round. I was expecting a lot more, and just because you make it to the last four doesn't mean you're going to put on a Final Four performance. I guess that's my takeaway.
I was about to ask you who you were disappointed more in, but you want to do that at the end of the video, or would you got to do it now?
I can do it now. Definitely more disappointed than Port. I thought Port had more of a chance going into it. The Dogs are injured like fuck. Port just really fooled everybody, bro. They had that two good games against some tough teams.
If you want to call them, man, Geelong was one of the wins.
Yeah, Geelong questionable as fuck.
Trash.
But definitely more disappointed than Port.
See, that's what's funny. So Port had everything wrapped up for them to win. The Dogs not being able to train right before the game. They've been traveling. They're on the road. Port's at home. Port is a more healthy squad. But with all that considered, I will say that they're disappointing as fuck. But I think Geelong. So the reason why I would say they weren't the most disappointing was for reasons actually on the actual field compared to Geelong's performance. That shit was just so garbage, bro. It's just crazy, bro. And they like to say that like the players from Geelong had had a virus or was sick or whatever, and they actually reached out to the AFL and says before the game was saying something about there could be a possible big changes to the emergency medical list or whatever. So, but
I ain't trying to hear none of that shit.
me either, bro. Because like I said, Geelong always seems like they have an excuse, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Geelong's more important. I mean, more disappointing. And when we talk about the Port game, we'll talk about why.
So let's get into these games then. First game, we had Melbourne versus Geelong. And really out the gate, Melbourne kind of took control. Trying to think. Max Gunn had a fucking incredible game.
Bro.
As a ruck, man, he definitely stood out, took over. He was definitely, I think this is one of his best games of his career. I think he had ended with 5 goals.
Mm-hmm.
That might be his career high in goals, if I'm not mistaken.
It's the best game I've seen from a ruck.
Yeah. Kazi Pickett, you could tell all game Kazi Pickett wanted to be a part of the action. He definitely got his touches. He did what he had to do. Petrarca definitely controlled the midfield. He just knew where to be every time. Fucking Ben Brown.
Cotton candy hairdo.
Ben Brown just really great mark target, putting in work. He really popped up at the end of the year to me. and he's just been put on a dominant performance. He's been having a lot of key plays in the finals. He had a few goals this game. Fritch had a great game. Melvin altogether. Clayton Oliver was out there. Great tackles, great performance from Clayton Oliver. It's just all of Melbourne came together and put on a great performance. And Geelong didn't even look like they belonged in the finals at all.
Geelong don't belong.
It was just, it was a fucking horrible performance from Geelong, man.
Shit was ass.
Like they had the first goal of the game. I think they were quiet for the next few, and then the second and third goal, they really got off some easy ass shit, and so Geelong, y'all were just ass, bro. Finished with 6. Oh, Jesus Christ. Go ahead, bro.
Geelong ass, bro. My laptop ain't finna die. Geelong ass, bro. So the game started. Melbourne brought the strong pressure like they always do, bro. We know Geelong's first quarter isn't typically the best, like we've continued to notice. But they scored 1 goal this quarter. Wasn't good enough at all. Not against a team that's... They didn't look like a motivated team that wants to go to the grand final. And what's crazy is, with Port, and we're not talking about Port yet, but them and Geelong, they had very similar appearances or performances, if you will, if you don't mind. And they brought the same kind of effort. And it was really weak, bro. It's like unmotivated. They didn't want it. You wouldn't think that they were a top 4 side at any point in the season. Geelong wasn't it. Well, Melbourne did a good job of not letting Geelong control the game like they want to with the contested marks, non-contested marks, and it didn't happen, bro. Really, all game Geelong didn't look comfortable at all. Melbourne's midfield was hitting on all cylinders in the beginning of the game, and there was a couple times in the first quarter where you see Melbourne players literally snatch the ball out of Geelong players' hands. Like I think Kazi Pickett was one player who did it, and Petrarca did it. Yep, exactly. Them two were the ones, and big names. I think when you see Petrarca specifically doing something like that, it's going to do something to the team. It's like, all right, the leader wants it. We got to want it. We got to go up to his standard, not just the coach's standard, but the captain as well. Well, one of the leaders on the team. But the one bad thing about the first quarter, in particular about that game, was Stephen May's hamstring.
Yeah.
And did he come back at all in the game?
Yeah,
he came back.
He came back. I think he came back the second quarter. Matter of fact.
Right. And obviously he probably didn't play 100%, but they still, it goes to show he wants that, bro. He said that there's no chance that he's missing the grand final. So it goes to show that your players, your key players, are setting a standard for the club, and it's not just a 1-year thing. It's they're going forward for the future too. Second quarter, I think Geelong played a little stronger, but it still wasn't able, like you expect to in the second quarter. They're always good in the second quarter, but even then, it still wasn't enough. I think Melbourne was just cleaner with the footy. They were more efficient. And Max Gawn gave you a little taste of what he was going to give you in the third quarter, bro. And third quarter is really when Melbourne really just turned up, bro. It was just goal after goal after goal. And Max Gawn scored 3 goals. He had 4 goals that quarter. He had 3 in a row. And he could have had 4 if it wasn't for Tomlinson, but everybody really was trying to eat. Fritch, like you said, he turned up there. I think Kazi had a goal. Spargo. Bro, it's like everybody, bro, with the effort, bro. And they were just dominant. Fourth quarter, Geelong got some garbage time goals. It really was over at that point. And Melbourne really just coasted to the end at the end of the day. I would like to give a shout out. We're always talking about Petrarca and Oliver, but Jack Viney, the unheralded, he definitely stepped up this game. Definitely turned up a lot. Really couldn't deny his performance that he was one of the better players in the midfield as well. And you can't say the same for Geelong's midfield. They got smashed, bro. So sleepless, nigga. Selwood, he just couldn't keep up with them young boys, bro. He tried, bro, but it just wasn't enough, bro.
That's what a lot of Geelong was doing. They were just trying, but they couldn't keep up.
Not at all.
Boogeyman couldn't keep up. Dangerfield couldn't keep up. They just really looked slow. Melbourne was just able to move the ball around and really with ease, honestly.
Yep, for real though. And the composure that Geelong actually was standing up with against GWS and the teams that they were winning, they didn't have that composure at all. And it just looked like Melbourne was that team, bro. Lever was really everywhere with the spoils, bro. He was all over the place, bro. Dangerfield, speaking of him, he fucked his back up and then he got walked off the field when he fucking around. Remember, he went up and then hit his back on the ground. And this game got to be such an ass whooping, bro. We were doing a Mexican wave, bro, on live, bro. That shit was just a fun time, bro.
It was
It was a fun time, and we just didn't want to look at Geelong. Like we said, the uncontested mark was their game, right? They averaged 92 a game. They had 49 this game, bro. So no control over the footy at all.
Yeah, Melbourne just took them out their game, and Melbourne played exactly how they wanted to. Geelong did what they could. It just wasn't enough.
Yeah, pretty much. Melbourne had 101 points from clearances too, bro. It's like, god damn. 101?
Them boys, again, they might have their first chance at winning. Well, not first chance. If they win the grand finals, I think it's going to be 57 years since Melbourne last one. So they got a lot to fight for, and they definitely showed it. Yep. Next game. Next game we had Port Adelaide versus Western Bulldogs, and surprisingly, this game was very similar to the Melbourne Geelong game. Although coming into this game, I thought Port was gonna be the team with the upper hand. I thought they were really gonna continue the performance they had these last few games, but I was mistaken. Bulldogs came in this game injured, no Cody Waitman. Barnt was questionable. A few more players missing. I can't think of off the top of my head, but
Keith.
But they came in and the Dogs just showed more heart. They needed their midfield to turn up. Every player on their team that needed to show up this game showed up. But Bailey Smith really got the team going. He really put everything on his back. He's, I want to say, most improved in the finals, like coming from the regular season to the finals. Bailey Smith has definitely impressed me a lot. Bont definitely controlled the midfield. It's definitely a midfield game. So it's really going to be interesting to see how everything breaks down. But Bulldogs just wanted it more.
They definitely wanted it more. They wanted it just as much as Melbourne. It kind of looked like it was something. It was destined to happen, bro. Yeah, I see that. But early, the Dogs, they were just carving through Port's defense, bro. It was just through the contest, they were killing them on contested marks, bro. Liberal, just like last game, he got early involved with the clearances, got some early touches, kind of set the tone. And Dogs just playing the team ball that they played. They had the first 5 goals of the game. Port didn't score till later on in the quarter, bro. They did a good job of neutralizing Lear, bro. That was definitely props to Luke Beveridge for coming up with a game plan to stop him because he's been one of the better players.
Speaking of the first quarter, the Dogs had 7 goals that first quarter.
That is facts.
To Port's 1 goal.
1 goal, just like Geelong. It's like this. Like the parallels are just lining up. I don't fucking know why, bro. And Port didn't even have a mark until like 5 minutes into the quarter, bro. Not one mark. The second half of quarter 1, I would say Port did put a little bit better pressure on. Dogs had a little sloppy kicking, but Port set shots were inefficient. They weren't even giving themselves the best chance to do what they needed to do as far as taking the lead, or at least cutting into the lead. And contested possession was a problem, bro. So apparently, this game, it was the worst ever since contested possessions were being taken as a stat, being recorded. This is the worst differential in any quarter in footy history. So 23 contested possession difference. So that's effort, bro. It's effort. In midfield, I'll back the Dogs midfield any day before I back Port, because the key players just didn't show up. Fantasia didn't really show up like that. Charlie Dixon showed up a little bit. Lear, they found a way to neutralize him. Bulk and Gray, they didn't really do much until the game was over. So I agree with you on the Bailey Smith comment. I think he's the most improved as well. He's just, once you start kicking goals, it's one thing to really get involved with the touches and to be kicking the ball forward and to get disposals. Once you get yourself on a scoreboard consistently, 3-4 goals, and you're such a young player and you're around, I think him being in a strong midfield, I think it's definitely showing. He's learning. I would definitely imagine from Mont and just situational footy, bro. And so he's definitely reaping a lot of benefits from being in the midfield. I definitely support that. Second quarter, Dogs kind of felt they were looking kind of goofy. I ain't gonna lie, bro. In the first couple minutes, just penalty. They were just getting caught doing some dumb shit. But guess what, Port didn't do shit, and they let the dogs get back composed. Port kept the pressure, but matter of fact, one player, bro. You know this, the skipper, Tom Jonas, just doing some dumb shit, bro. Just flying like Harris Andrews the other week, just flying, going for the spoil and missing it, bro. He did that a couple times, bro. Gave him some goals, so. When your skipper doing that dumb shit, and then your other key players are not showing up, I'm not expecting the best outcome from you, especially when you let the dogs who've been going after, what has it been? It's been so many odds, bro. They've been having this and that, bro. And they overcome every time. They're looking like GWS, bro, as far as adversity goes. They've been looking like that.
Boy, Aaron Naughton, too, boy. They were going up for all marks. He was, and then such a great mark target for them, especially early on in the game.
Yeah.
He would just jump through all the packs. And I mean, he does this all the time, every game. If you don't know, look up Aaron Naughton, bro. He does that.
Yeah, that boy be going out reckless, bro. But that shit works out for him. He got some of the best hands, I would say, bro, in the AFL for sure.
Yeah.
Contested mark wise. But the reason why I said that I was more disappointed in Geelong, bro, is because really in the third quarter, Port did look some type of decent, bro. They looked like they wanted to have a comeback. They were moving the ball, but the execution was just bad, and they couldn't get on the scoreboard. And that was just their problem, bro. They just weren't efficient enough every time. In the third quarter, they looked better than Geelong did at all the whole game. But I think what they got saved from was really the dogs' effort, bro. Just make sure that they touch the ball before it goes by, bro. It's good shots, bro, but it's just the back line for the dogs, bro. They just had more effort and they wanted to touch it, bro. I also think the refs did have a little bit of bullshit going in favor for the dogs, but at the end of the day, Port doesn't want enough if you can't even capitalize off shit that you can't even control. So dogs dominated in the fourth quarter, and it really was a wrap, bro. Players in specific, though, the unheralded Jack Viney, also from the last game, but I want to give a shout out to Josh Shackey. He did a good job. He was key. He was one of the main players, bro. Just locking up a lead, bro. They were doing a tag job on him, on a defensive player, which is kind of crazy. And he had some marks, too, to give himself some shots. He didn't finish as well as he would like, but he definitely played his role. Mitch Hannon, too, being a mark target. I think he had 3 goals. So big shout out to him, too. So it's Lord.
Yeah, I don't got too much else to say about that game either.
Bailey Smith following the NBA with the Melo celebration.
Fuck the Bailey Smith, bro. I think at the beginning of the year I said he was my favorite player on the Dogs. He's became my favorite player again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the games, man. Definitely not what I was expecting this week, especially off 2 great games a week before, close games.
Yeah.
I just hope the grand finals gives us a close game.
I would like to think so, bro. Both been the top 2. They both well deserved, bro. Both can make history with whatever headline it is, bro. So
yeah, for the Dogs it would be
2 premierships.
2 premierships from the bottom 4
in 5 years.
Yeah. Well, I guess we gotta do a tip on that, bro. It's gonna be a short video.
You gonna love it.
Facts. So when we playing the Optus, Melbourne versus the Dogs. Oh man, like you said, this matchup of 2 great midfields. Both teams been on top majority of the year. The Dogs should be back healthy for the most part.
He should play. Waitman should come back. Vandermeer did something with his hamstring, which I think he's big on pressure, but I'm not sure if he'll come back next week. He might. I don't know. We'll see. See, it's kind of early to call because we still got some more time and some more news, but one thing is too, the main players are playing, so.
I really don't know which way this will go.
So, I want to go for the Dogs, bro, because I got some dog homies, but I'm really about to go Melbourne for real. I'm supportive of my homies, bro, the Dogs, but I'm officially putting it in as Melbourne because just for a couple reasons. I have more faith in the defense, assuming that Stephen May's good to go. Lever showed me enough. Oliver played great, bro. Oliver has been, he leads the league in contested possessions. That's going to be a very important stat, I think, in this game. Petrarca, I've liked Oliver more than Petrarca, but Petrarca even showed leadership, bro. Just, I seen like him pointing to Oliver, telling him where to go with as far as how to exploit a matchup, and it worked in his favor right when he said it, right when he did it. So, great captainship. He's playing great. Gone, you got the gone advantage, bro. Granted, I think Stephon Martin did pretty good. I think English held up in the ruck. They'll have to neutralize Gone. I don't think they'll beat him, but Gone has to exploit that, has to turn up. He doesn't need a game that he just had this past week, but if he does good, he does his role as a ruck. And the forwards are important with with Melbourne. If you can get Ben Brown some marks, if Frisch can turn up, if Kazi Pickett can get some pressure and some goals off of that, Spargo with maybe holding the ball tackle or whatever the case may be, and Tomlinson, bro. If you can get these players some goals, bro, I'm willing to back you, bro. And really, I think his set shots, as far as his accuracy, are kind of a problem, bro. He misses a lot of set shots. He gives himself the opportunities, but in a game at the grand final with matchups like this, I think it might be detrimental as far as the accuracy goes. And I think the forwards just will be the difference, bro.
I do think that the forwards are going to be the difference. That's why I'm going to go with the Dogs, bro. I feel like I've seen more heart from the Dogs.
I agree with that 100%.
And I just expect them to follow through to the finals, even the grand finals, even especially at full health. Because I already counted them out. I really counted them out in their game against Portland, and they showed me that they wanted it. They showed me they want to win it again. They all just been looking great. I want to see what Cody's going to do in the front. I know Cody Waitman's going to do. I want to see what Bailey Smith's going to do. Tim English is probably going to have to do a lot of... I don't know what Tim English is going to do. But get more from Shaggy. I just see the pressure that the Dogs put on is going to be more than Melbourne does. And it's definitely going to come down to what's being done in the midfield. I can see the ball being stuck in the midfield for a lot of the game without it getting into anybody's 50. I really just think the Dogs have more young players that want it more, that are willing to run and put that little bit of extra effort, that extra oomph into it. But I'm not even confident in saying that, bro. It really could go either way.
And I think one big reason was just how Port kind of put up a fight in that third quarter last game where Melbourne kind of put them boys away, bro, and it was over with. So, I don't know, bro. It's just... You can't have a wrong pick. You really can't, bro. And like, I respect your answer and your reasoning, and it's like, it's very valid, and I feel like mine is very valid, and I don't feel like anybody can really say we're wrong, bro, unless you're a Dogs or a Melbourne supporter. And it matters of what players are really going to step up, bro, because there's a lot of them, bro. There's a lot of them on the field that will be on the field. Bro, you have so many of the Brownlow leaders on the field, bro, this game.
So, I expect Bont Petrarca, for sure, time out.
Oliver, too.
Oliver, I expect a little bit of matchup with Oliver.
McRae's going to get his numbers.
Yeah, but he ain't going to be gone.
No. And then it's like, is Varney about to turn up again? Like, what's about to happen, bro? Like, Beveridge versus Goodwin, bro. I think Beveridge been having these masterful plans, too, bro, as far as coaching goes, bro. But Melbourne's defense is always set up so well, so you never. I just don't know, bro. They know how to. Melbourne knows the numbers game, bro. Like, matter of fact, Melbourne knows the numbers game, bro, as far as setting up behind the football, bro. And the Dogs know the numbers game in the midfield, bro. Like, they just throw the correct number, an amount of numbers at you, bro. And they just know that they'll always have that player to break through, bro. It's just,
I really don't know who's going to win this shit. I just don't want it to be a game like these last weeks where someone gets blown out, bro. I want this to be a close ass game, back and forth,
Classic finish.
for sure. It's gonna be a historic finish either way for either one of the clubs. It's gonna be a good one, man. September 25th.
Excited, man. What time is it?
5:15.
Oh, I think the longest kick is like the hour before that. KFC longest kick or some shit.
I wanted the you know, when the
race?
time trial.
I have no idea. We'll look it up though.
That shit all gotta be around the same time. I think that's it for this video.
I'll take my clothes out to dry.
Shit, y'all catch us live. We definitely be live for the grand finals. Appreciate y'all. All the support, all that shit, you know, all the YouTube stuff. We almost to 1,000 subscribers. If you ain't subscribed, please subscribe, man.
If you ain't subscribed, please subscribe. Also, tell a mate, tell a bloke, whatever the proper formality is, man. Tell somebody, get our channel out there. Help us reach out. Help us get in contact with an AFL player if you know somebody who's pretty friendly on social media, man. Whatever it is that you can do, you feel like you can contribute to the channel to help us break through. We definitely appreciate that. We welcome that. And we love y'all, man.
Yeah. Content coming all summer.